Michael McCann.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I'm very grateful because I was losing power in my legs as I was sitting for so long. But can I say that I'm beginning to get the feeling that there's a collective amnesia setting in the opposite side of the chamber, because I thought after the weekend that the realisation would have sunk in that the Chancellor's budget took twice as much from pensioners as it did from the rich. Apparently not. And as a result, 4 million pensioners will face a real cut in their incomes. The rebuttal line which I heard yesterday on the television programmes from the Tory Central Office is that no need to worry, the record increase in pensions is coming along. However, that piece of spin fails quite dramatically when you consider that it is driven by high inflation, and that's why the £5.30 increase will be introduced, which cancels out the benefit and leaves us with 4 million pensioners facing a cut in their incomes and 4 million pensioners paying for the cut in the 50p tax rate. But, Mr Speaker, Mr Deputy Speaker, the most difficult part about the budget is the Chancellor's stubborn refusal and lack of humility to accept that his economic policy is just plain wrong. And the Chief Secretary of the Treasury is here, so hopefully he can take this message back. Because if you go back to the March 2011 budget and you look at the figures, the Chancellor said he was going to borrow £146 billion that year, and he forecast borrowing levels for the next 6 years. In this budget, he revealed that he's going to borrow £126 billion this year, and again put forward these forecasts for how much would be needed. All of those forecasts were upgraded, which in turn leads us to a situation where this government is going to borrow £150+ billion more in order to feed their economic policies. And, Mr Deputy Speaker, if this is the Tories' idea of clearing up a mess, I wouldn't like to see them mucking it up. I have to tell you, my first draft language was slightly different, but it does bring to mind Winston Churchill's words, which I think are particularly appropriate. That a politician needs the ability to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year, and to have the ability afterwards to explain why it didn't happen. But our Chancellor can't even do that, Mr Deputy Speaker, because last week he had the brass neck, a Scottish colloquial term, to boast that this year's borrowing would be £126 billion and that it would be £1 billion lower than his forecast in autumn 2011. What he failed to tell us was that in his original budget figures, it's £4 billion more than he originally thought he was going to have to borrow. So the Tory budget is a straitjacket for a flawed economic policy. Unemployment is up, borrowing is up, and growth is down. And we can only have to look across the pond, Mr Deputy Speaker, to see a different economic model working. The United States of America, who are taking a different approach to the economic problems and are succeeding with more than double the growth that we expect to see this year. I've done a lot of pruning here, Mr Deputy Speaker, to keep within the 4 minutes, but can I finish with what will be my abiding memory of last week's budget? And that was the sight of Liberal Democrats cheering wildly at the Chancellor's tax cuts. Weirdly. A few weeks ago, they sat with their heads bowed, and then they walked into the lobbies to vote through a welfare reform bill which contained cuts and benefit to cancer patients. They must be very proud. In the words of the American actor, writer and comedian Albert Brooks, it's better to be known by 6 people for something you're proud of than to be known by 60 million for something that you're not. And for that reason, Mr Deputy Speaker, I'll be voting against the budget tonight. Yeah.